Travel journaling in a box. Welcome to another episode of this little series here on my channel, in which I want to show you some different travel journaling ideas, and at the same time I want to document my last trip to Rome. I have decided that I want to create a travel journal box for my last trip to Rome, but all of the ideas that I show you within this series you can of course also transfer to a travel journal. That doesn't have to be such a box with loose pieces. You can just take the ideas and put them to pages and make a junk journal out of that, or a travel journal, traveler's notebook, or whatever you like. If you perhaps have missed the other videos of this series, and if you perhaps want to learn a little bit more about my experiences in Rome, then you can find a Rome travel journal playlist linked below. And I say Rome so extremely because all of my travel journal videos are about Rome. You know, I love the city, and yeah, that's the reason why there are no other travel journaling videos on my channel. I mean, with other cities or so. But you can, of course, transfer also those ideas from the older videos to your junk journals, to travel journals, and so on. So I would be really happy if you check that out. As I said, the link is down below in the description box. Today, I want to prepare some journaling cards and some tags for my box. And that is, to be honest, the hardest step for me for this whole project, because, yeah, perhaps you can already see the problem here. I thought it would be a good idea to take this box here, because this box is sturdy. I have a lot of those boxes in my craft room because I know a person who loves this kind of chocolate. That's not me. But because of that person, I often get these boxes and I love them, to use them in my craft room, and I love to upcycle them. They are so sturdy, and with like a little bit of paper here, and on the other sides it's a nice storage box. But the problem is that I don't know if the size will be good. I want to use the box in my shelf like this later. As you can see, it has this little opening here. And please imagine here would be some paper. And then I can imagine that here is like a little label or something that I can, like a handle, which I can use to take the box out from my shelf. That would be really good. It's not too big, not like that it gets not handy anymore, but I have the problem that I can already see that some of the pieces fit not so well into the box, the pieces that I already have. I have shown you those postcards and also these in one of the last videos, and I have explained that I have bought these postcards because I can use them as journaling cards nearly as they are now. I will probably cover this up because I don't like to have this word Roma on every of those cards. I want to use this space here for my own notes, for my own thoughts, for my own experiences, but the size will stay the same. And I thought, look, it fits in here perfectly. And when I had put that in here, I was really happy. But then I took the other postcards that I have, and I realized that this is too big. It can't go in here. This is not such a big problem because I can just cut this off here, because it has this frame that would be possible to cut that a little bit smaller so that you would not see that in the end anymore, that it was cut. But with this postcard, it's a little bit weird because, look, let's take this out. When I lay it here and check the size, I can see I could cut it here, but that would like press the image really strange to the middle somehow. I could also take it like this and cut some off from here and here, then the problem would be not so big, but then the image would be in this direction, like so, instead of having it like this. Do I want that? you know, I'm trying to throw some questions into the room that are in my head at the moment to, yeah, explain what's going on in my head on the one hand, and to give you some things to think about for your own box or for your own journal. I could also imagine to cut this in half, because who says that I can't do that? Who says that I have to cut it here or here? Perhaps I can also make it work by cutting it in half and have one little thing here and the other little thing here. That would probably look the best, I guess, but I'm not totally sure if I really want to do that. So that's the thing, to find the size for the things that I want to put in here. And I also, of course, need more material to work on. That means I want to make some tags and some journaling cards. And for that, I've prepared some things that I want to show you now. So I have taken out these papers here. These you have seen in one of the other videos as well. These are all the papers that were laying on the tables in the restaurants below the plates. So that's, of course, a good base for the back of tags and journaling cards, or these which have like writing and images on them could also be used for the front of tags and journaling cards. And I have this bag here in which I have put all of the tinier ephemera, like tickets and little things here from the Chinese restaurant, or from those here, those tickets from the botanical garden and so on, because I also want to use those somehow. And I have printed out a printable from my Etsy shop, which you can see here. This printable is called Women in Rome, and there are some junk journal pages available and also an ephemera pack. And this printable to me is really like special, because all of the photos which you can see behind the women I have taken by myself. So the women came not from me, of course, that is an artwork by someone else, but this, what you can see in the background, I have taken with my smartphone, with the camera of my smartphone, and I wanted to have something like a memory of Rome, of course, with those photos and this whole feeling of the printable. And at the same time, I wanted to mix some styles. So as you can see, for example, the Trevi fountain here in the background looks like an urban sketch, even if it originally was a normal photo. So I have made that with Photoshop into this look. And I thought, yeah, that represents my feelings to Rome the best. Like a mixture of urban sketching, which is like a little bit more modern. You can see it was a photo, some really antique old things, older art, but with those like gesso strokes here. At the same time, it looks modern a little bit. So that was my goal. Hopefully, hopefully you can see that as well. So for example, here in the background, you can see that I've tried to imitate some gesso, or this could also be, of course, white paint or something, to get this like more modern vibe to it. And it's vintage at the same time because of the women and also the colors. I wanted to have it really like brownish and this reddish and yellowish brown. If you want to use these pages in a junk journal, you could, of course, also do that. You can use them for whatever you want, yeah? But if you print them out and you fold them in half, then you would have always one side, for example, here with the Colosseum or another building, and the other side has a woman, so that you can have a really nice variation for your junk journal pages in this case as well. Yeah, so we have that. There's also a funny story behind this photo and a little bit sad story behind this photo here. This is the Bar Giulia in the Via Giulia. And you can recognize that because of the oranges here. I will make a separate video about the Bar Giulia because I went there for you with my camera because I wanted to show you the oranges, and then something happened. But I will journal about that, and I will of course show you my video footage that I have recorded for you. It was a little bit strange, but this photo is special because, yeah, it's just really close to me, and I can see me sitting somewhere here. Yeah, I'm so hoping that I can bring some of that feeling that Rome has given to me to you as well with this video series, with those papercraft projects and with the video material that I have recorded. I'm so hoping that. Some of you have given me really nice feedback already, so thank you very much for that. But I'm of course hoping that I can reach a part of your heart as well with this. So yeah, let's go on with this. This is the ephemera pack that belongs to the printable Women in Rome. You get some pockets, as you can see with this. I have made the pockets here with these little labels, but actually those are the street signs from Rome without the names, you know. So all of the street signs in Rome have this shape and this look, and you can just write your own caption there, or a date or whatever you want. The ephemera pack also has some really old and vintage things in it, like these cards, for example. And I have also a sheet with some smaller tags. Here you can see the street signs with some names on them, a little bit bigger. So you can use these as ephemera, as tiny journaling cards. We have some postage stamps here, a little like washi tape thingy. Some old postcards and some real stamps, postage stamps. And then we have a sheet with these giant tags. Here we have some like smaller tags, some small journaling cards, some page tabs, and this is also a page tab. Yeah, so if you are interested in this set, Women in Rome, you can find 2 links below this video. One link is for the junk journal pages, and the other link is for the ephemera pack. So that comes in 2 different items. So you can choose if you want to have both, or if you only want to have the ephemera pack or only want to have the pages. Yeah, so that's that. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to trim these cards down, because that is probably the most complicated thing, because the other things we can just measure and make them as big or small as we want, but these are really a problem. So I will first cut a tiny bit off from this postcard. It's just a tiny little bit so that it fits in there, and hopefully later on we can't see that it was cut. What's on the back side? Oh, that's no problem. I like this card even better than before, because the white frame is not so big anymore. I'm a little bit confused about that. Positively confused, but confused. And I can see that is a little bit wonky there on the top. Why is that wonky? Now it's better. Yeah, but now it looks better and it fits into this box here. So let's put that in here. And for this one, I think I will cut it just in half. Here. Like so. Das fühlt sich ein bisschen komisch an. That feels a little bit weird, but at the same time, I really like it, and I'm a little bit proud that I have done that, because normally I would probably not do that. So next I want to turn these into tags. I'm just going to take my scissors and cut along here, take this, flip this over to get the same angle for the other side. This makes a really interesting hole. Look. I'm so happy that I have this punch. I got that as a gift and I'm totally happy with this punch. So then we can put both of these in here as well. Looks good. So next, let's use some of this fun stuff here and some of the printed pages from the printable. I am thinking about something like a master board thingy. So I want to choose this page here and the one with the Trevi fountain, and I think the Colosseum could work for that as well. I think it really doesn't matter what you use, but yeah, in this case I've chosen those pictures that I like the most, or actually the places that I like the most. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off this white border there, so that I have the full image here. And then I want to cut off those areas with the buildings. Of course, I can use the rest of the page for something else. Just like this. So first of all, I want to take this piece and I want to use one of these stamps on this paper. I think I'm going to go with this one here. This is the Tiny Prints CMS 460 from the newest release by Tim Holtz and Stampers Anonymous. And I want to stamp with this stamp to this paper with Distress Oxide Ink Frayed Burlap. But not only that, I want to make my paper wet. Since this is matte photo paper, we will get a really cool effect on this paper by doing it like this and making the paper really wet. And at the same time, the print in the end gets waterproof. If you are thinking, what? She's using oxide ink? That can't be true. Please check out the videos which I have linked down below for you. I have some videos where I show you this technique in detail. I have figured that out a while ago and it's just awesome, because everything what I do here now seems to be like a really big mess, but it isn't. We just need a dry paper towel. Put this on top here to lift off the water and the ink which is too much. And then we have this cool print. I've done it a little bit like irregular on purpose because I don't want to have this like too clear. You will see later why. We can perhaps also stamp over this with another color and another stamp. Perhaps something that's a little bit darker. Let's take some walnut stain, and I want to use this here from the Inspector stamp set, CMS 465, and this alphabet is, yeah, it reminds me to Rome and to all of those like fragments that you can find there. And that's the reason why I think that this can match here really well. So I've just put the walnut stain oxide ink to my stamp, and now I will make this paper wet again. And as you can see, nothing smears. This is, as I said, waterproof now. So you can stamp as many layers over each other as you want. And in the beginning, when you take the stamp off, as you can see, it looks a little bit weird, but just take a paper towel, take this off, and you have the most gorgeous print. Haha. And this also looks a little bit rusty. That's very good. In Rome there are many rusty things.
About the things we used to do. No, you couldn't stand tall. So why didn't you call? So many years has gone by, but I think about you all the time. Looks like you're changing and all, but why didn't you call? Something in the air, always something in the air. Inexplicable, I can feel it in the air. Can you feel me? Can you feel me? About the things we used to do. No, you couldn't stand tall. So why didn't you call? So many years has gone by, but I think about you all the time. Looks like you're changing and all, but why did...
Okay, so these are dry now, and I'm really happy with how they came out, and now I want to cut them. As you can see, they are all different, meaning here we have the floral stamp and those letters. Here we have the tickets and the floral stamp, and here we have the bigger flowers and the other stamps. So they are all different, and now I want to cut them and mix them back together. And I'm a little bit afraid because I want to cut them blind. And for a perfectionist like me, that is not so easy. Barbara, are you watching? If yes, I would feel not so alone. So first I thought I will take them all at once, but that is not possible because of they are wonky a little bit. So I will just take them and, oh my goodness, cut them into smaller pieces. And if you have never done that, try it out. I mean, it's always like the same thing, because in the beginning you think, oh no, I can't do that, I'm afraid, and then in the end you will see it's just gorgeous. No matter how you cut, no matter how small or how big you cut the pieces, in the end it always looks gorgeous. Oh, look at this. Would you come to the idea to cut a stamped image from this stamp like so? Probably not. Ooh, and the pieces of the buildings also look really interesting. This from the Colosseum, I really like that. And look at this. Oh my goodness, how cute is that? That looks like a really fancy washi tape, doesn't it? And now we can glue that back together or sew it back together. Seems weird because we've just cut it, but I now want to collage that to cards. So I want to collage these pieces to the front of this, and then later on I will cut that again, and then I will glue some of my straw paper that I collected in the restaurants to the back to be able to journal on the back, and of course to cover up this ugly orange color.
Inexplicable, I can feel it in the air. Can you feel me? Can you feel me? Can you feel me?
Okay, so that is that. Ooh. I'm really happy with this. This looks just amazing. It's just amazing. I know that it is really like matchy, but I'm totally in love with this, and this fits so well to Rome. It's just amazing. And now I want to take some of my tickets that I have collected, and I also think I want to use one or two of these from the beer, or perhaps this one and one of the round ones. But I want to take a sanding disc and just go over them a little bit, and perhaps not in the air but on the table. That could be successful, to make them a little bit more matte and used. So I will take both of these and I will just cut them a bit smaller as well. I will try to find some cool positions for these pieces on this masterboard. And in this case, I want to put these there where the other papers are crossing each other, like so, for example. Oh, I'm freaking out. This is not a rectangle. But it has never been a rectangle. It was like that on the bottle, but that drives me crazy a bit. So now I will let this dry, and then I will go to my sewing machine and I will sew over this. And now I want to cut this into journaling cards. But I'm just thinking, shall I first back this with the straw paper? I think that would make sense. Then I would have an easier job to, you know, I have to cut only once then. So let's see. I want to find one of these papers that has nothing on it. Yeah, so this, for example. So let's just take that. Okay, so here we go. For both of these, I've decided that I want to leave them as those long cards. And after cutting them, I've just sewn around with a running stitch here so that the edges look nice and sewn as well. And for this one here, I have decided that I want to turn that into a tag. Just like this. And now I will sew around the tag here with my sewing machine as well, so that this gets the same look like these. So here we go. And what is this? Grounded crest. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to have, to ink the edges a little bit. And I think everything that you do with this masterboard method is like magic. I can't say it in another way, because it is. Every time when I do that, in the beginning, I'm like, ooh, can I do that? Will that turn out beautiful? Or will I destroy my things? And especially with those things that I have collected during my trip to Rome, I am careful, yeah, because I don't want to have fails on my desk. But and then I would have wasted my material that I can't get again. But I also want to be brave. I want to try out the things that I want to do. I don't want to be like, a rabbit which is sitting in its hole and can't come out because he's afraid, yeah. And I don't want to only do the safe things because that would be too boring to me. You know me. I like experimenting, and if I can't experiment, then I'm not so happy, and it's not such a happy day like a day would be with experimenting. But yeah, this masterboard method is like, I would say, it guarantees you success no matter how often you have done it, no matter if you are a beginner and you try it out for the first time, no matter which materials you have, it always works. And that's totally fascinating for me. So now we have here 3 things to work with in the next steps. We have these 2 cards, journaling space on the back, some space on the front for some focal points, for example, and we have this tag. So I will put these into my box here now, and I can also show you some other examples that I've made without the camera. So these are also, like simple masterboards. I've just taken the page from the printable, stamped to that, not wet, but just dry stamping. You can see the ticket booth stamps here in the background. And I've also collaged some tickets and a business card here and some stamps that I had bought in Rome in a thrift store. That is a totally different look if you want to compare these with this one which we've made just a second ago. It's totally different, but they match each other because of the same printable paper and because of the tickets. I really like that, but they are at the same time totally different. And that's the cool thing about working with a masterboard, isn't it? And this I've just cut out from one of the pages from the printable, and I've just decided for the size, and then I've also backed that with the straw paper, the same with these journaling cards, so that they are all the same on the back, so that it looks nice and cohesive on the back when I want to write something there. And now I can just put them in here. This is a little bit weird because it's not so full yet, but I think when this gets like filled up, then it's better to handle. Now everything is like falling to the front, so let's put them in here. So this was my project for today. I hope you could get some inspiration. Have a very great and creative time until we see the next time. Bye bye.